Okay, so it's the moment of truth. We've put the Momus PC together from yesterday afternoon. It took us about 4 hours. Does with cable management. Wasn't too bad at all. No real problems at all. I would say one little problem that I didn't like it was the cutouts on the cable management side of the case. It's a Strike X Advance 1. It wasn't very expensive, about £31. I just didn't like the fact that we had sharp edges, with cables passing over it. If the case was moved around an awful lot, then I'd be more concerned about it, but obviously it's a desktop case, it's not going to be moved around, there's not going to be any vibration, cause chafing on the cables and cut through them. But it's one thing that perhaps if I built another PC with this case, I'd actually use some sort of foam or an edging strip around the cutouts just to get away from the sharp edges, which I don't like at all. But besides that, it's really nice. It's got some LED fans in it, and yeah, the build went really well. So we had some problems with the monitor, with the cable with the monitor. The monitors, we ordered two Aces, they're K222 HQLs. They were not the most expensive again, but we were working within a budget. But the monitors actually came with two VGA cables. Both were male fitting, which is standard, but our PC, the output for the video was a male as well, so we needed a VGA adapter for it. Now the graphics card has got a DVI DVI-D output and two HDMI's. Now I didn't want to mess around trying to get an adapter for the VGA because obviously it's an analog signal. So I thought the best thing to do was use the two HDMI ports, because we are running two monitors, and get a HDMI to DVI-D cable, which we've done. I ordered them Saturday night on Amazon, and they came this morning. Really impressive service from Amazon again. So I know that the monitor works. It's plugged in. We've got a standby light. The moment of truth now is to switch the PC on and get into the UEFI or the BIOS. So do that. Here we go. Start button. Press delete. Fans are running, LED power light is on, data light is on. Here we go, signal to the monitor. We're into UEFI. Fantastic. So that's first boot, hasn't been done before. Wow, great. Morgan will be pleased. Looking at the system time, looks correct. We're on 1340, which is, well, it's a little bit fast. My clock's slow, I think. My kitchen clock is slow. And Monday 24th November. Great. I'm just going to set up a security password to lock young Morgan out so he can't go into the BIOS and start overclocking this and damaging the PC, because as I say, we've got the stock cooler on it. I don't want to do too much, so I'll lock him out with an administrative password. One thing I want to do before I actually load the OS is to go into the integrated SATA controller and just check that it's set to ACHI. I'll just do that now actually. Yeah, so it's ACHI is set as a default, so that's good. It's important if you're using SSDs in your system build, okay, so that your computer can take full advantage of the speed of the SSD, but also if you can look at things like trim, which controls the way that the data is written to the SSD, and it also stops automatic defragging of the SSD as well, which will lessen the life of it. So that's a subject for another day, but anyway. Yeah, pretty good. Okay, so we got boot, that's great. No real problems. If this is the first computer I've built for about 15 years. And I've got to say, it's so much easier than it used to be. Just everything is so much easier to find compatibility with different components, with all the information on the internet now. There's so much choice in it, that's the biggest thing. Whether you go for an Intel or an AMD processor. That's all I'd say is, if you're going to consider this, start with your motherboard, decide, or rather start with your processor, decide basically your budget will decide whether you can go for Intel or AMD. Make sure your motherboard's compatible and your graphics card's compatible, and make sure you got the right type of RAM. DDR3 is pretty standard these days. DDR4 is coming in, but still very expensive. Match your RAM sticks. Don't go crazy with RAM. Your graphics card and the new Haswell range refresher Intel processor take up an awful lot of work from the RAM these days. So yeah, this thing's going to fly, I'm sure. I can't wait to see it actually in action. Morgan's mum is going to be purchasing some OS sometime this week, and she'll probably drop it down the weekend. So I will I'll load that in and do all the updates to the BIOS and the chipset. And I'll put in a load test there for 24 hours and just keep an eye on the temperatures. Make sure nothing needs tweaking, or we haven't got any problems, or if we need any more cooling. And that's about it. It'll be ready to wrap up and be ready for Christmas for Morgan. A lucky young lad, which was mine. Okay, so that's it. If you've got any questions about building your own PC, you know, if I'm not a professional PC builder, but you know, anyone could do this. It's very, very simple, and you can save yourself an awful lot of money. I would say that to buy a machine like this in PC World or Currys would probably cost you in excess of £1,100–1,200, and that's just with one monitor. So yeah, if you've got any questions, I'll try my best to answer them. So leave a comment in the block below. Thanks very much for watching, and see you again. Cheers, bye.